Welcome back, everybody, to the Daily Racing Show. Her name is
Pia.
My name is Milan, because I'm very polite. And we had this weekend the pleasure of watching a round 3 of the Women's World Circuit Racing Championship.
Almost.
The
World WCR.
Yes.
WRC.
CR.
Yes.
Yes.
WCR.
Sorry, we're still getting adjusted to the name because it's a little bit confusing.
And it's inaugural season. It's the first time. It's round 3. So they always have 2 races per weekend. So this weekend we also had 2 races again. They were racing in Portugal, in Portimao. So, right?
Yes. And this is also like a companion championship to the World Superbike Championship.
Yes.
So usually wherever they're racing, that's where the women's circuit will be found as well. And it was very, very good. It was very, very exciting. The really cool thing about this championship is even though you do have a difference in skill level, the front is incredibly competitive.
And I'm sure the rest of the pack is as well. It's just we don't get to see it.
Because the front is always doing something.
Yeah, and I mean, they only show, like, the front usually.
If the front is battling, then you show the front, obviously. I mean, they do that in any championship. Whether it's, Indy or F1 or MotoGP, it doesn't matter. Like, if people are battling in the back, like, they will not get the attention if the people are battling in the front as well.
And the good thing about this is also the races are really short. For this one, they had 11 laps of the circuit, which was about 22 minutes overall total racing time. So it's really easy to watch. It's also for free to watch. You guys can watch it on YouTube. So please go and support the women, watch the races. Because if you're not, you're honestly missing out. Because it was so much fun. This is now our second set of races that we watched because we missed the first round because we didn't know that this was happening.
Yes.
So now we're watching our second round for the first whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about.
We're watching our second round, but it's in the third round, which is also halfway through the season. So doing 3 more rounds this season. Maybe next season we'll get a couple more races. We don't know, but it's a very tight championship so far. And we do have, of course, the front dominated by the Spanish women.
At the moment. Yes, exactly.
So let's recap race 1, I would say.
Race 1.
So we had Maria Herrera, also currently the championship leader, kicking off the race in pole position. She's just honestly an excellent starter. She just knows how to get off the race. She knows how to start it off because in the second race she wasn't starting off of pole. How dare she? But she was like, I don't care, But in race 1, she started off the front and she immediately took off, and she really is like dominant, honestly, in all corners besides the last, like, I think it's turn 14 and 15, and that's when the second one on the championship, Anna Carrasco, was always able to sneak in that slipstream, and then able to overtake her, and then Maria was back in the front. It's just so much fun
because also the track is really fun. There's lots of elevation changes, like right off at the starting line. It dips down into the first corner. It's a very technical track from what the commentators were saying, and it's also fun to see the different racing lines some of the women take, because of course also a lot of them are not quite as familiar on the track. It might have been one of the first few times that they were on the track outside of qualifying and Superpole, of course,
because it is a very international field. We have people like obviously from Spain, we have people from South America, from Germany, from the US,
from South Africa, from Japan, from Taiwan. So it's really women from all over. It's very diverse, the grid, which I really love, and it's also diverse in age. We have very young women. We have some women with a lot more experience on the track, and also more experience in terms of racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what is also interesting to see, like, for the last 2 rounds now that we've watched, we have this group in the front that separates itself. That's mostly the Spaniards. It's Maria Herrera, Ana Carrasco, Sanchez. I think it's Sarah Sanchez.
Yeah, it's Sarah Sanchez.
And then it's Beatriz Naila. Those 4 usually separate from the rest of the pack. Roberta, the Italian motorcycle rider was with them the last time round.
Yes, but
this time she wasn't in the front pack, and then there's like a middle pack, and then around fighting for place 10, there was a big group of people. And of course, we did have, unfortunately, some people crash out this time around in both races.
Both races, yes. So the first race we had 5 people crashing out. I think Bondi on accident. So she's the French driver. She dropped her bike.
Yeah.
She was taking a very aggressive line through the corner, and the commentator saying that this was never on. But she ended up dropping her bike, and then she also took out the American Mallory Dobbs, which is really, really unfortunate because this has happened to Mallory now several times during the championship.
Yeah.
Which, this is, of course, this is also a skill thing, but you do also see this in MotoGP. You see this anywhere people are, eager to overtake and people dropping their bikes. It happens all the time because you are racing at high speeds
on 2 wheels.
So it is, however, very unfortunate, especially for Mallory, because I think she has a lot of potential, but she's just not able to show it because she's always been taken out.
I know, because spoiler alert, in race 2 she overtook 8 places. So I mean, it's so she is really
she's
great.
Good, but she just doesn't get the opportunity to shine because it's sometimes of course they say that you have to kind of watch out for yourself too. You have to, yes, you can blame the other person as much as you want to, but you also have to, protect yourself. But in the end, if you're in a corner and the other person drops the bike and it slides into you, what are you going to do? Hop over it,
Yeah,
I don't know. This is not Mario Kart,
Yeah, it's just a bummer if you're a casualty to somebody else's mistake.
Absolutely.
But it was such a fun round. Like you were saying, there was a lot of battling, especially in the front, that we got to witness between Maria Herrera and Carrasco, because those are the two. Maria is the first person, and then Anna is just. We're going into this. She was only 7 points behind Maria in the overall championship. So there's still chances, of course, for Anna to be the overall championship of the inaugural season of the World WCR.
Yes.
But yeah, it was very exciting in the front. Lots of overtaking.
In race 1, you did also, however, see that Maria was able to kind of keep a gap between 2 and 3, and then it was more like Sanchez and Carrasco battling it out, and there was a lot of overtaking, and then also Beatriz was trying to finagle in there.
Yes.
However, then Maria, ever dominant, was able to take the lead, or take the win, of the race, and then Sarah Sanchez was able to snatch up that second position, which is a little bit unfortunate for her because she is she's always this close to getting the podium.
Yes. Or getting the win.
Getting the win. She's on the podium consistently.
Yeah.
And then Anna Carrasco ended up in 3rd, which is really unfortunate for her because that dropped her down, I think at that point, 22 points to the lead or 16 points to Herrera, which is, this is doable.
Yeah.
But it's still someone who is as consistent and as dominant as Maria, you don't really want her.
You don't want her to give her any leeway, any extra points. Yeah.
Yes. And then so the second race of the season, unfortunately, actually, so it started out with you had Sarah Sanchez actually in pole position.
Yes.
Because she had the fastest lap of the race in
the first race.
In the race 1. So that means you automatically get the pole position in race 2.
So basically the lineup for race 2 is the top 9 riders are determined by the fastest top 9 race times of race 1, or lap times of race 1. So that's how it gets determined, and then the rest of the grid is filled up by the qualifying results.
Yes, and you also have to keep in mind it's very impressive that Sarah was able to get the fastest lap in, because usually if you're battling with someone or if you're behind someone, you're slower because the other person is obviously slowing you down because you have to adjust your racing line. You might have to adjust your braking. So it was very impressive that she was able to snatch up that. However, she had an absolute terrible start. And Anna Carrasco, who was actually starting from the second row, was able to just get the whole shot and just sneak her way through essentially the top 3.
Yeah.
And then take over the lead going into turn 1. Maria Herrera also had a really great start, but she was in second place, and then I think it was Sanchez, and then it was Beatriz Nela. However, then very, very unfortunate, in turn 3, it was Van Aswegen as well as Tyler Ralph got into a crash. We didn't really get to see exactly what happened
because every single camera angle that they showed, we saw
the tail end of
exactly. We didn't see the actual incident. We just saw it happen off screen, and then they kind of fell into the screen. But it looked quite...
looked quite bad. And one of the racers, I'm not sure if it was Tyler, seemed like she was also underneath her bike.
I think that was Van Aswegen.
Oh, it's Van Aswegen, and Tyler was on the track, right?
Exactly. Tyler ended up on the track, and then they actually red flagged the race. It was, for us, it was the first time
we've seen a red flag.
A red flag of the race.
Which is good.
Yeah, of course, it's very good. Yeah, because, I mean, a lot of them, not a lot of them, but we always see crashes during the races, but luckily nobody is injured very badly. As of right now, no, that is not true. First race was also not
and then
so
we
great.
have, because we have one racer who's not able to right now return to the championship because she's still recovering.
That's true. So I correct
With
myself
that.
there.
But in so far it hasn't been as bad because, like, obviously in motorcycle racing anything could happen.
Yeah.
In any racing, really.
Yeah.
But so the race ended up being red flagged, but because I think 2/3 of the race or something like that wasn't completed, or like because the first lap actually of the race wasn't completed yet, they reverted to the original starting position.
Yes.
And so that means that, again, Sarah started on pole, Maria was, I think, in second, and then Anna was on the second row. And then so they also ended up instead of doing 11 laps, they ended up doing 7 laps because there are obviously other events happening the same day, because they're not the main event yet. Of the day, they were like, okay, we have to cut out some racing time. And so they ended up doing 7 laps. And then once again, unfortunately for Sarah, she didn't have a good start.
It was better.
It was better, but not as good. And then again, so this time actually Maria Herrera got the whole shot. And then, however, Anna Carrasco right behind her. And then they were back to battling it. And it was very intense because Anna was battling Maria on the front, but then there was also Sarah Sanchez battling. And then Beatriz Nela was also like, she dropped off for a little bit, but then I think with 3 laps to go, she was like, you guys are wasting each other's time. Let me see what I can do.
No. It was so much fun, guys. You definitely have to check it out. It's because, there was constantly switching back and forth. You can't really just sit and relax watching it. You also can't just like half watch it because there's too much going on, and it is such a short race, so every corner really matters. Every overtake matters because there's not a lot of time left. So, and then at the end, you won't believe how it ended. Go ahead.
So Anna Carrasco was leading the race for the majority of the time. However, Maria was like, listen, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then she was able to overtake her, and she was trying to drive out that gap. And then what happened?
And then, just like you were hinting essentially at the beginning of this video, during the end of the lap, so in turning corner 14, 15, going into the last straight, Anna slingshotted, Sarah slingshotted, and they both ended up passing Maria Herrera. And it was so close. I think it was maybe Anna was first. Then there was, it was 0.025 seconds. She was ahead of Sarah Sanchez. And then Maria Herrera came behind
She was
them.
1/10 down.
I mean,
it was so tight. It was almost essentially a photo finish.
And it happened so fast.
Yeah.
So fast. But it was exciting. And I also love, I like all the women. But I'm happy that Anna Carrasco ended up winning just also for the overall championship.
It's good for the championship.
Exactly. And I also like that Sarah Sanchez came in second. So it's a little bit closer in the front still.
Yes.
I would have personally loved to see Beatriz Naila on the podium just because she was really close for both of the races. And she seems also, not that any of the other women don't seem like nice people, but we've had seen a post-race interview with her for the second round, and she seemed like just sweet. So I was like hoping she was so close, maybe they can switch it up in the front a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, like, neither of us are rooting against Maria. We're more like rooting for the competitiveness of the championship.
Yeah, we just don't want her to
like
ride away with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also want to point out, and I think this is really track dependent because we didn't have that in the last track, but after the fourth place, there was almost a 14-second gap to the fifth place.
Yeah.
However, then between the sixth place and then there's a bunch of riders that were really, really tight together. I think it was actually between ninth and going down, there's like less than a second between like, I think, what is it, like 6 riders?
Yeah, like
so
I had mentioned
so tight
earlier, like they have this front pack that battles, then there's like this little bit of a middle section, and then they have a bigger chunk in the back that are really close together, which makes it really interesting. That's why me personally, I would love to see some of the other action on the track too, which I get, and it's also still small, and I don't know if they have the broadcasting abilities to show all those things. But it would be nice to see, and also to give those other women some attention, some camera time. And
I think also, I will say, I think there's maybe also a little bit of advantage with the Spanish drivers, because we had now races in Spain, in Portugal. And so obviously these are places that are close together, so they might be more familiar with other drivers who are from countries that are way, way far away. So they might have never gotten the chance to do a lot of racing on those tracks.
Yes.
And then I mean, they do mention it that there is a little bit of a skill gap, but it's cool that these women are getting the opportunity to race, and it is very, very exciting. And I will also want to give a big shout out to the commentators. They're very, very exciting and incredibly knowledgeable.
Yes.
And it's so it's like, it's just an overall really fun experience to watch it. And then I would love to also attend it live. And of course, then if you attend live, you also get to watch the Superbike Championship. You get to watch the Superbike 300. So you get like 4 races in a day.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really good deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would love to watch it in person as well. But I'm also just excited to see this championship grow, to watch the women and maybe see more of the women in different types of racing leagues, because again, this is not meant to segregate the women. It's to give them another platform, to get more eyes on them, to get them more sponsorship, to also get them more track time and more experience, so they can rise up the ranks in the mixed leagues more easily, because clearly they can ride their booties off.
Yeah, absolutely. And then let us know in the comments if you were able to watch it. If you haven't watched it, make sure to check it out. You can watch it for free here on YouTube.
Yes.
And it's really, really exciting, so don't miss out on it. So let us in the comments know what you guys thought about the races. And as always, like and subscribe. And we will be seeing you guys here later this week for the Daily Racing Show.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.